So y'all, I just finished watching, right? I just finished watching the shenanigans, right? And tell me why, like, hold on now. No Mitchell Robinson? What? Like, we went through that whole thing? No Mitchell Robinson? What's a guy got to do to get some entertainment out here? But that's not even there. Let's talk about it. Knicks Media Day. This might be a longer video or short. I never really know. But let's get into the foolishness. Knicks Media Day. Recap. Okay. Now let me get this out the way. Los Buenos, son. Now I want you to turn this up. And we ain't playing no games anymore. Okay.
Backpack full of artillery. Shots by a chest line, literally. I ain't even gotta remind you. But don't get killing them. Yeah, gotta line you. Backpack full of artillery. Shots by a chest shot, literally. I ain't even gotta remind you. But don't get killing them. Yeah, gotta line you. Same people that despise you cover up lies and
H+III+T to put that thing on time. Listen, so Media Day is done. Media Day is in the books. Media Day 2019 for the New York Knicks is done. Let's get to the dang on recap. Before this video starts, I apparently have to explain this in every video. This is just a shirt that says Brooklyn. Not affiliated with the Nets. You know, believe it or not, Brooklyn was already an established place before the Nets. I know some of y'all don't know that, but yes, Brooklyn is an actual place, and Brooklyn is not just a team. If you didn't know that, but that's not here there. Welcome to another video. I would normally go through the shenanigans of reasons why you should subscribe, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I got stuff to do today, so we're just going to jump into the shenanigans. If you subscribe, yeah. If you're not, yeah. Listen, we're going to start with how they came about. Let me start with all the positives, then we're going to get into the breakdowns, then we're going to... That's the breakdowns. No, I laughed internally, but that's neither here nor there. Then we're going to get into the dang on breakdowns. Then we're going to talk about a couple of the negatives, gosh dang it. So let's start with how this started with a bunch of positives. They said they would start at 11 o'clock, and my Moses and a half, they started at 11 o'clock. That is Eastern Standard. Not that it matters because it's over, but that's not here nor there. Normally, when the Knicks are doing a live stream of some kind or some kind of town hall or whatever catchy keyword they're gonna call it, gosh dang it, they'll get on there like 15 minutes late. The Knicks started the stream at 11 o'clock. It was so scary, it made me think it was pre-recorded, but that's not even there. They got on with the foolishness. The audio was on point like a pencil. I watched it on my TV today instead of my phone, so I don't know if the audio was great for all of y'all, but the audio as far as people who had the magical live mic, shout out to RJ Barrett for thinking he could do this without a microphone, but that's not here there. The audio quality was great. I thought the video was dope. There wasn't like any like lagginess. Like you could tell that they actually like got some IT people together, not Isaiah Thomas, but like technical people together to make sure that everything ran smoothly. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was dope and very smart that it was just one live stream on the exact same link. So it wasn't like when sorry, something just flew in my eye. So it wasn't like when the administrative portion of it ended, or the front office or whatever, with Scott Perry, Steve Mills, and Fizdale, when that ended, it's not like we had to go over to a different video. They just kept it all on the same stream, and as soon as it ended, it just immediately said come back at 12 for the players one, and I thought that was really dope. They kind of did it like they do on Twitch and stuff like that. So I thought that was really, really dope. But that is not here nor there. Oh, real quick shout out. Go check out Reason for Gaming on Twitch. That's the homie El Phoenix. Go check out his stuff. But that's not here nor there. So that's the positives. We got to get into... Let's just go up and down, guys. Let's just go up and down with the shenanigans. So Scott Perry and Steve Mills and Fizdale a little bit, because I kind of feel bad for Fizz because he's just the coach and there haven't been any games yet, so there's not many things Fizdale is going to be able to address in regards to how things are going with predictions and projections for the team. Gosh dang it. Side note, I have the live stream paused like right next to me, and Kevin Knox has just been staring at me, and he's looking like he's not approving with anything that I'm saying, and I haven't even gotten to the trash talk yet, so I don't know why Mans is mean mugging me like this, but that's why if you see me looking over my shoulder, Kevin's just mean mugging me, but that's not here or there. But there's only so much that Fizdale is going to be able to address because there are no games and training camp starts tomorrow. So there's not really much I can go to other than the one little negative that I want to address. Now, the media that was allowed there, and I want to harp on that, the media that was allowed there. We obviously did not see Frank Isola in attendance. There was also a very strong lack of melanin as far as the voices of the reporters I heard, gosh dang it, but that is neither here nor there. But shout out to all the melanin on the stage, if you know what I mean, gosh dang it, but that's neither here nor there. But when the media pressed, little pun, media press, when the media pressed the front office about how it is that this summer went with free agency, and maybe expectations weren't exactly met, or maybe we had to do a couple of consolation prizes and stuff like that. I felt like Scott Perry and Steve Mills did a really good job of not so much ducking all the static that was coming their way, but addressing it, and I mean addressing it to the highest possible degree. Dudes were asking great questions like, yeah, you didn't get like the top of the people, like obviously a Kawhi or a Kevin Durant or a Kyrie Irving, and that is independent of our feelings of if we needed them or not, but that's kind of what they were selling us we were going to obtain. Knicks management really attacked it and wasn't hiding behind anything. They basically said, we're not in control of what these other players do. We can only try to approach people that they had on their quote-unquote player board, which gives me eerie feelings to when the Knicks talk about draft boards and we end up with Frank Ntilikina, but that's not here there. But addressing that they knew who they wanted and they had backup plans. So in a nice way, they were saying our plan B isn't as bad as a lot of people are painting us. So little shots at ESPN. The main thing I wanted to speak on is they addressed that they had an opportunity to go after other top-tier free agents, a.k.a. Kawhi was willing to have a meeting with us, and the Knicks said no. Westbrook was willing to come over to us, the Knicks said no. I'm sure Jimmy Butler was probably interested, and I assume we said no to him, but that's not here nor there. And Steve Mills actually said, we didn't want to go after those people because we already knew who we wanted. If it wasn't that top of the, which I don't know how Kawhi is not in the top of the, but he was probably always going to go to the Clippers, but that's not here nor there. But they wanted to focus on getting them dudes that they got. So that's your Bobby Portis's, that's your Julius Randle's, that's your Taj, Alfred Payton, the homie Wade Ellington, and obviously Sandra Bullock. So that was cool to hear. They also kind of acknowledged the little bit of tension that was going on with the Spurs and how lucky we are to have ended up with Marcus Morris. Now, the only negative thing that I want to bring up with management specifically is the idea that I don't feel like they have a good grasp on analytics. And that's not that they completely shun the idea of the importance of that. And again, I'm not trying to bring up Fizdale because I don't know how much of that take that for data rant is like a meme at this point. So I don't want to reference, that's like having a Allen Iverson conversation and bringing up the practice rant. I don't know how much of that is a meme and how much of that is what Fizdale actually believes. So I'm not going to harp on Fizz, but with management, they almost speak on analytics like it's an afterthought. And while I agree that, there can't be that much structure when it comes to a friggin' game, and that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a game. We're watching grown men play a game. I don't know how much structure you can put to it, much like the argument of, well, what's the importance of, I don't know, music theory if you're a rapper, but I mean, it's just when you look at other organizations that are attracting these other free agents, and again, I'm not harping on the free agent thing, but when you look at other organizations who are seen as more progressive and more a nicer destination and are more attractive to other big name players, they mention things like analytics. They mention things like making the right steps to try and take the NBA and their respective teams into the future. And that just kind of gave me really creepy vibes that the Knicks are still on this old school mentality of we're just going to grit and grind our way over to the playoffs, which is a good strategy and I'm sure it will work, but it's just the successful teams that are in championship contention always bring up analytics. I don't hear the Knicks doing that, and when it was brought up, it was kind of brushed off like it was an afterthought. And that's just a little bit concerning, but I mean, difference of opinion, tomato, tomato, maybe it won't matter in the long run. It's just, if successful people are doing one thing and you're doing the opposite, sounds like you got a case of the sever the bonds, but that's not a hint there. So that is the front office portion. Again, it's going to be a longer video, so I don't have time to harp on every little thing that happened, but let's go up and down the players now. With the players and such, this is where stuff started to get really interesting. We started out with Julius Randle. Let me just say that there's a crop of people on this team who I am actually literally afraid of, and I might not be so loose with calling people bums this year, but that is not either there. Julius Randle's freaking huge. His arms are the size of my head. Possibly the size of this chair, gosh dang it, but that's not either there. Man's a swoller than 16 little bits. He seems very focused, and he seems to have this idea that he is the leader of the team, which I don't know who is going to tell him he's not, but I just thought that was really interesting. And that's kind of the tone and the certain things that I was looking for with the players that got a chance to get on the mic today. I wanted to hear their impression of what management sold to them. Like, I wanted to know, what do you think you're going to be doing? I really wanted to hear something from Wayne Ellington and the homie Reggie Bullock. I really want to hear from their point of view. What do you think you're doing this season? But that's not there. But Julius Randle is giving off this impression that basically he's the second coming of Amari Stoudemire. That's what I got from that, and I'm here for it. We obviously believe in the guy, and we're extremely happy that he's on the team. There was nothing majestic that he said that I was like, oh god, but it was interesting to see that he's clearly assumed the role of leader. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of tension between him, Dennis Smith Jr., and Taj Gibson as to who the leader of the team is. But that will all be silenced tomorrow in practice, I'm sure. But that's not even there. Who else was after that? Marcus Morris was after that. Another individual who I am deathly afraid of, and I don't know how many times I'll be calling him a bum if he messes up, because I don't have the hands in general, but heavens, if Marcus Morris ever had a problem with me, I don't know what I would do, but that's not even there. Aside from dropping profanity within the first sentence of his response on a live mic, he seemed very focused, and he kind of put forth the tone and the energy that losing is not an option. And that's not him being cliche. That's not the classic, oh, we're just going to get after it. He was dead serious. That man said, and I loosely quote, because I didn't write anything down, but I loosely quote, it's not going to be how it was last year. Now that coming from Marcus Morris, just that tells me the tanking days are over. And again, if you watch this, gosh dang it, I have to ask you again, y'all still think Kevin Knox is starting? No offense to Kevin, but we heard from them dudes today. I don't know, fellas. I don't know. I might get the order incorrect a little bit here, but next. Oh, and also let me harp on that. Morris is self-describing the crew as dogs, so that's not like a that's not like a nasty media narrative being put on African Americans. That is how he is presenting himself and the quote unquote squad. They are dogs. No, Roman Reigns, they are dogs apparently. Again, more reason to be frightened of them, but that's not the truth. I feel bad for other teams. Next up was R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett is a child. That is what I gathered from that. That is a child. He's a child. I think we're putting a little bit too much in the expectation chambers. I'm not saying he's going to be trash, but I think we all just need to remember that this man is a kid. So that's all I took from R.J. Barrett's little thing. That is a child. I'm sure he'll be great, but that is a child. I'm not going to critique a child, but that's not here and there. But shout out to him. Next was Taj Gibson and I think Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is another individual who I don't want any problems with. Anyone who doesn't look me in the eye and is constantly looking over their shoulder in a very peaceful corporate environment, I am afraid of for various reasons. But I'm sure he'll do great. He seems to have a lot of confidence in his three-point shooting. Wanted to let us know that he has improved every single year, so that's dope. I mess with him quite a bit. He doesn't seem to care which position he plays, though he did name drop 4 or 5, so I guess trying to squeeze him in at the 3 might not happen. I don't know, but, fizz. Let's see, what did Taj say of importance? Taj is another person who seems to really be taking on this leadership role, and I'm getting real Lance Thomas vibes from Taj. We already know what it is with him. I mean, he's a legendary athlete of the, legend. Okay, Sever, calm it down. Not legendary, but you know what I mean. He's been around. We know what it is with Taj. So the respect is given to him off rip as a veteran. I just think it's going to be interesting who is going to decide who's going to be the leader and who's not. I mean, sure, there can be multiple leaders and multiple captains, I guess, but I want to see how people are going to get into their leadership bag. Dennis Smith Jr. was somewhere in there. He has twists now. He has like borderline Travis Scott box braids, which are they're cool, I guess. They look like they hurt his scalp, but they look dope on him. And shout out to him. I'm just not sure how professional athletes are able to maintain manicured locks, but that is neither here nor there. I mean, you're gonna be sweating a lot, and as athletic as that man is, I mean, I don't know how you're going to keep that in a way that's not like, how did Iverson keep the braids? You feel me? Like, how? But that's neither here nor there. His aesthetics aside, he seems very focused. He's still advertising this jump shot that no one has asked him about up until today, but that's neither here nor there. If you ask me, you can keep that. You can keep that. But, shout out to him for making improvements and such. And other than that, he didn't really say anything that floored me. Then, very shortly after, we had the homie Elfrid Payton. When Elfrid Payton got out there, I think I turned my television volume from 11 to 45 because I wanted to make sure I soaked it all in, gosh dang it. And let us start with, where did this man get that flavor of confidence from? The interviews I've seen with Elfrid Payton, he's very quiet, he's very shy, he's very to himself, gosh dang, I don't know what this is, but I really felt like I should debut it on camera. Are you liking this movement here? I don't know what it is, but I like it. Ooh, it makes me look more distinguished as I'm talking. Like, ooh, I don't know. Anyway, his confidence on the mic was ridiculous. He seems, he's calling himself a young veteran, which I agree with. I would argue that him, Bobby Portis, and Julius Randle are in their primes at the moment. But he referred to himself as a young vet, and he says he could do a lot of teaching to the other guards or whatever. There was no mention of Alonzo Trier. This whole thing, I thought that was weird, but that's not here or there. Elfrid Payton says that he keeps up the communications with Dennis Smith Jr. quite a bit, and that they worked out a little bit. That's an interesting one-on-one I would like to see. Says he hasn't had a chance to talk with Frankie, but he thinks that he could help Frank with his game, which I think is going to be really important because Elfrid Payton is pretty much what y'all think Frankie is going to be at some point. So who better to learn from than someone who's around the same age-ish, and y'all can mesh. And you can literally just copy and paste Elfrid's game onto Frank. You can literally just copy and paste that. But that's not here there. I'm trying to think, was there anything of importance that Elfrid Payton said? Other than his confidence and the fact that he doesn't really seem to care about who starts and who doesn't. He said specifically his #1 goal is to win. And normally with veterans, I don't care when people say that. But when it's kids, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's who you are as a person. And it's dope. It's dope to hear. Gosh dang it. But that's not here there. So that was all that Elfrid Payton said. He might pass Mitchell Robinson as my current favorite player on the Knicks. I'm not really sure. So far, Mitch is safe, but Elfrid Payton's like knocking at the door. But that's not here there. Who else got up there? I think that's everyone. Oh, and Kevin Knox. If I missed someone, I apologize. Then Kevin Knox, he got up there. And I think Kevin Knox, outside of Dennis Smith Jr., was the only reoccurring character in this play known as the New York Knicks, which is more of a tragedy as of recent years, but that's not even there. Kevin Knox got up there, and he was just harping on how excited he is to get into the shenanigans for year 2, how he has... he started out saying that he put on weight, but then said he didn't, and that's just a little bit more muscle. Gay. He said that now that he has film on himself, he wants to take time to make sure that he's taking smarter shots. So that's cool, I guess. I mean, he didn't really say anything that was like flooring, but nice to hear that he's interested in improving, and he did acknowledge a couple times that he will do better this year in comparison to last year. So not saying that Kevin Knox is trash or a bum, but it's nice to know that he is self-aware that he needs to step it up, especially with all the talent that we have on the team. And just because I have to make this joke every time there is a child on screen, shout out to the kid from the Garden of Dreams who looks like a chocolate version of Matt the Knicks fan. I'm gonna get canceled. Gosh dang it. Listen, that's pretty much it. I am wearing pants. That's pretty much it. Nothing else really happened. Gosh dang it. We'll do, I guess, a more specific breakdown of what's been going on and such in training camp, since that starts tomorrow, which I secretly think they've already started. It just wasn't official, like a referee with a whistle or a badge and a pistol or an architect and a chisel, but that's not here or there. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I don't think there was anything else. This video was done literally off the top of my head, so if I missed anything, I apologize, but we'll do a more in-depth conversation on Wednesday where we'll have some stories coming out of training camp to get a good gauge of how stuff is going. We are doing our first live stream again on Monday after the game. Yes, our first preseason game against the Wizards, I think, is on Monday. That is next week, a week from today, so make sure, if you don't watch anything else from this channel, come on back on Monday after the game for our first live stream, and live streams will continue and do what they do. There will not be a Monday video, but there will be a Monday live stream, and I think there's going to be a Wednesday video as well. I don't know, but in the short term, come back here to Sever the Bond, gosh dang it, on Wednesday for us to do a little bit more of a deep dive on what is going on in training camp and some more fallout and speculation, if you will, from Media Day. Like, comment, subscribe, H+III+T. You see another triple OG putting in as much work as me. Do me a favor, point him out, gosh dang it. I'll see y'all later. Kevin been mean mugging me for about 30 minutes now, and this video is gonna take forever to edit and upload. I just can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.